Good morning. We'll be talking today the local governments. Okay. So when we say local government refers to the local structure, including the province, municipalities, cities, and barangays. And it also includes the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao and the Cordilleras. Now, the Constitution states that the Congress may by law create a special metropolitan subdivision subject to a plebiscite set forth in Section 10 hereof. The component cities and municipalities shall retain their basic autonomy and shall entitled to their own local executive and legislative assemblies. Jurisdiction of the metropolitan authority that will hereby be created and shall be entitled to its basic care requiring coordination. So what are those local governments, if you will be asked? So there are four, include the other one, autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao and the Cordilleras. So basically, there are only four that is common to all local government units. One is province, city, municipality, and barangay. Now in city, there are two kinds. It could either be highly urbanized or a component city. The classification is determined by its charter. Normally, if it has its charter and independent from the city, from the province, then during election, the constituents will not vote for governor. It is an independent body from other municipalities or cities. While component cities normally they vote for their governor. Now, there shall be an autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao and Cordilleras consisting of province, cities, municipalities, and the geographical area sharing common and distinctive historical and cultural heritage, economic and social structures, and other relevant characteristic with the framework of the Constitution and the national sovereignty, as well as territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines. The autonomous region must consist of province, cities, municipalities, and geographical area sharing. One is common and distinctive historical and cultural heritage, and number two is economic and social structures, and letter C, other relevant characteristics. In other words, when you say the reason why this one is created is because of its distinct cultural and historical heritage. So they have different laws which may not be applicable to all local government units. The reason is because from since time immemorial, that is their practice even before the Spaniards came. So that is also recognized, that right is recognized in which under the law they were given an independence. So the Section 16 of Article 10 of the 1987 Constitution states that the President shall exercise, take note, general supervision only over autonomous regions to ensure that laws are faithfully executed. What does it mean by general supervision? Can the President um, disapprove the, the law passed by the local government units? Okay, the answer there is generally no, because the job of the president is only a supervision. They will make it sure that the law is generally or faithfully executed by the local chief executive. As to how it should be executed, then that is beyond the power of the president. As long as it is executed and the execution is within the bounds of the law, then the president has no other option but to uphold the decision of the local chief executive. So the president has only general supervision. It has no power of control. Okay, when we say control, it can the president can replace, modify, or supersede the decision of the local chief executive. The Congress shall enact an organic act for each autonomous region with the assistance of and participation of the Regional Consultative Commission composed of representatives appointed by the President from a list of nominees from multi-sectoral bodies. The Organic Act shall define the basic structure of government for the region consisting of the executive department and legislative assembly, both of which shall be elective and representative of the constituent political units. Now, still under Section 17 of Article 10 of the 1987 Constitution, all powers and functions and responsibilities not granted by the Constitution or by law to the autonomous regions shall be vested in the national government. The preservation of peace and order within the region shall be the responsibility of the local police agencies, which shall be organized, maintained, supervised, and utilized in accordance with applicable laws. Okay, the defense and security of the region shall be the responsibility of the national government. So the peace and order is under the control of the local government units. That is their job, okay, to organize, maintain, supervise, and utilize of the applicable laws. But in the hierarchy of the PNP, it's under the Department of Interior and Local Government. Okay, so the Secretary of the LG as well is under the executive branch. The department head, the secretary, is appointed by the president. While the armed forces is, of course, cannot be controlled by the local chief executive. It's always under the national government. Can the local chief executive authorize or command the AFP to, let us say, put up a checkpoint? Okay, no, because that power is not vested in the local chief executive. It is under the national government. So meaning it's only the president can exercise that power as to where or who will man the to issue a command to the armed forces of the Philippines. So there is a case where they pass an ordinance that the local chief executive is in charge of peace and order, including the AFP, okay, as to how to man the checkpoint. Well, it was declared to be not allowed because it is not under the command or under the control of the local chief executive, the AFP. Okay. Now, the creation of autonomous regions shall be effective when approved by the majority of votes cast in the constituent units in a plebiscite called for that purpose, including a creation of local government units. It requires a plebiscite. A plebiscite is a question normally included in the election, whether the constituent body is in favor of either a merging or creation of a certain province, city, municipalities, or barangay. Now, however, only provinces, cities, and geographical areas voting favorably in such plebiscites shall be included in the autonomous region. Now, what is government-owned and or controlled corporation? It is an artificial being created by operation of law, having the right of succession and powers, attributes and properties expressly authorized by law or incident to its existence. So what are these government-owned and controlled corporations? So it is an artificial being. Artificial being means it is a person created by the law. Okay, upon its effectivity of the law, then that GOCC, government-owned and controlled corporation, becomes alive, meaning it has that power um, to enter into a contract which can be sued as well. So it is an artificial being, example of which are all establishments created by law. Okay, so the its power is found in the law that creates it. Okay, while a public corporation is one form or organized by government of a portion of the state. Okay, its purpose is for the good, for general good and welfare. As distinguished to the other kind, a private corporations, as you know, like Jollibee, Donald's, San Miguel, one form for some private purpose, benefit, aim, or end. So it's for profit. The private corporation is intended for profit, while public corporation is organized for the government. Now, the true criterion is the totality of the relation of a corporation to the state. If a corporation is created by a state, okay, own agency or instrumentality to help in carrying out its governmental functions, the corporation is considered public. So if it helps the government created by the state, okay, to help carrying out its governmental functions, then it is called considered public. It's a public corporation. If it is not for governmental functions, then it is called private corporation. Hence, province, chartered cities, meaning a city created by its own law. That's why it's called chartered cities. The barangay can best be simplified as a public corporations. On the other hand, Philippine Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, while created by Republic Act, is private corporation. Okay, it is not subject to state control. Its powers to arrest offenders of animal welfare laws and to serve processes, okay, have been withdrawn. So there are private corporations that helps private public purposes. So there are classifications or two kinds of corporation, namely we have municipal and non-municipal. So what is a quasi-corporation? Public corporations created by agencies of the state for a narrow and limited purpose. So it is not possessed with the powers and liabilities of self-governing corporation. It takes charge of the public and private or state work for the general welfare. Include quasi-corporations, example of which is, for example, Gracia Water Districts. Okay, a quasi-public corporation is a species of private corporation, but the qualifying factor is the type of service the former renders to the public. So it is a private created by private individual, but it renders public service. We call it as quasi corporation. If it performs public service, then it becomes a quasi public corporation. So in other words, quasi corporation is a private, but performs or renders public service. Now, number two, the other kind is municipal corporation. A municipal corporation is an agency of the state to regulate and administer local affairs of the town, city or district with which is incorporated. One, the elements of the municipal corporation is it's a legal creation or incorporation. Why legal creation? There is a law creating it. Okay. Number two, corporate name by which the entity is known and is in which all corporate acts are done. And number three, population, which is invested with the powers of the corporation through duly constituted officers and agents. And number four, territory within which the local government exercises civil and corporate functions. So all of that elements must be found to be considered as a municipal corporation. Now, the governmental, corporate, and proprietary exercise in administering powers of the state and promote public welfare, and they include legislative, judicial, public, and political. Okay, exercise for special benefit and advantage of the community and include those which is ministerial, private, and corporate. So the municipal corporation it always for the benefit and advantage of the community. Okay, it seeks to obtain special corporate benefits or earn pecuniary profit. It may also exercise other means to generate fund. Okay, the local government unit acts as an agent of the national government. Okay, the LGU acts as a community in the administration of local affairs. Examples in the regulation of fire, disease prevention, and public peace, establishment of schools, public offices, etc. So it is an alter ego of the national government in the local level. So it always go with the mandate of the national government. No province, city, or municipality or barangay may be created, divided, merged, abolished, or its boundaries substantially altered except in accordance with the criteria established in the local government code and subject to approval of the majority of the votes cast in a plebiscite called for the purpose in a political unit or units directly affected. So all changes or alteration of the boundary of the local government requires the approval of the majority votes of the people who will be affected. You cannot create or divide without a plebiscite. A plebiscite, again, is a question whether they are in favor of such changes, merging, abolish, altering the boundary. It cannot only be done by one person. So it requires concurrence of the people who will be affected. Now, what is the requirement in altering, changing its boundary? One, there must be a law or ordinance. A local government unit may be created, divided, merged, abolished, or its boundaries substantially altered, either by law enacted by Congress in a case of province, cities, municipalities, and other political subdivision. Okay, the exception is barangay. So Congress may create, merge, abolish, or change the boundary of province, city, municipalities, and other political subdivision. But for a barangay, who will create or who can alter its boundaries? So it requires only an ordinance to change a barangay. An ordinance is still a law, but it is under the local level. So an ordinance passed by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan or Panglungsod. It depends if it's an independent city, it only requires the Sangguniang Panglungsod and not the Panlalawigan because it's an independent. In the case of barangay, okay, within its territorial jurisdiction. Okay, so there must be an ordinance approved by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, the province, or city if it's an independent city. And in the case of creation of barangay, there must be a Sangguniang Panlalawigan, approved by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, but with the recommendation of the Sangguniang Bayan. Okay, the municipal council will recommend and it will be approved by the provincial board or Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Okay, or in the city, it is approved by the Sangguniang Panglungsod. To whom and what power may be delegated, okay, to local legislative bodies under its plenary legislative powers. Congress can delegate to local legislative bodies the power to create local government units, subject to a reasonable standard and provided no conflict arises in the provision of the Constitution. So the Congress may actually delegate its power to local chief executive as well to its local counterpart, and the local counterpart are the municipal council or provincial council. Now, note that it has done so by delegating the power to create barangays. Okay, not to the president. The power is inherent in legislative branch. Okay, the power to make law. Okay, it is its job to alter, merge, or merge a certain local government unit. To the grant to grant the president the power to create or abolish municipal corporations would allow him to exercise over LGU's power of control and denied by the Constitution. So the president has no power of control over local government units. Okay, so the president will will pass a certain executive order, but it will be executed by the local government unit. But as to how it will be executed, it's no longer the control of the president. But they will make it sure that that plan or program must be executed. As to how, it depends. Okay, because the president cannot control over decisions of the local government units. Its job is only supervision. Now, the power to create provinces cannot be delegated. Okay, so it is unconstitutional if it grants the ARMM, a regional assembly, the power to create provinces and cities. Congress delegation to power to create province includes the creation of legislative district. It was declared to be unconstitutional because the law that grants ARMM, it also creates a legislative district, which is prohibited because the law is very clear that the creation of a legislative district is the job or the duty of, is the power of Congress. Now, when a plebiscite is required, when LGU is created, divided, merged, abolished, or its boundaries are substantially altered. Okay, so what does it mean? So there will be a plebiscite is required. Okay, to residents who will be affected. So includes, however, the conversion. Okay, like from a city to highly urbanized city. So there must be first a plebiscite asking the people who will be affected if they are in favor of it. It may also be through a downgrading from an independent city to a component city. An independent city is higher than a component city. So, of course, you know the reason why they want some municipalities wanted to be a city is because of the higher sharing. They may fall, if they fall under higher category like an urbanized city, their share is their share in the internal revenue allotment is higher. Now, the plebiscite shall be conducted by the COMELEC within 120 days from the date of its effectivity of the law or ordinance, and unless said law or ordinance fixes another date. The exemption is the Constitution recognizes the power to fix date of elections is legislative in nature. But the court upheld the COMELEC's board the power or authority to fix other dates above plebiscite. Okay, normally a plebiscite can be done simultaneously with the regular election. It may also be a special election. COMELEC thus has a residual power to conduct a plebiscite even beyond the deadline prescribed by law. That's the power of COMELEC. They are in charge in all election matters. Now, what is the requirement? The creation of a local government units and its or its conversion from one level to another level shall be based on verifiable indicators of viability and projected capacity to provide services, which include one criteria in changing is income, population, and or land area. Now, what do you mean by income here as a criteria in upgrading, or downgrading? One is must be sufficient to provide for all essential government facilities and services and special functions commensurate with the size of its population. Okay, what is included is the average annual income. Okay, and that includes the share from the national government, and all income together include income accruing from general fund exclusive of special fund transfers and non-recurring income. Okay, the internal revenue allotment, as I said, forms part of the income of the LG, which will be included in the as a criteria um, in merging in upgrading or merging or abolishing a certain local government units. The funds generated from the local taxes, IRA, national wealth utilization proceeds, accrue to the general fund of the LGU. The exception here is component cities created under 9 RA 9009, which mandates that the income requirements be satisfied through locally generated revenue of at least 100 million. Okay, so under that act, the local government units, when it upgrades, it requires that its income from a locally generated revenue without any with excluding the IRA is 100 million. Now, as to population, shall be determined as the total number of inhabitants within the territorial jurisdiction of the local government units. The land area, the territory, the land area must be one contiguous, meaning solid, not one area is in other place, unless it comprises of two or more islands or separated by an local government independent of the others. Number two, properly identified by the metes and bounds with technical descriptions. And number three, sufficient to provide for such basic services and facilities. So in section 12 of the local governments in the constitution, cities that are highly urbanized determined by law and component cities whose charters prohibit their voters from voting for provincial elective officials shall be independent of the province. Okay, the voters of the component city within the province whose charters contain no such provision shall not be deprived of the right to vote for unelected provincial officials. What does it mean? So there are two kinds of voters in an independent city. Okay, for highly urbanized and component city, if the charter there states that they are prohibited to vote for their governor, then they will do so. But if there is no prohibition in that in their charter or the law that creates it to be a city, then they have to vote for their governor. Okay. Independent component cities are those charters prohibit their voters from voting for provincial elected officials. They shall be independent of the province. So independent component cities will not vote for governor. While the voters of component city, okay, so you have to determine as well the charter. But generally, when we say independent component city, they do not vote for their governor. But if it's a component city, you look at the charter, because if the charter states that they are not, they are prohibited to vote in the province, then they are indeed prohibited. If there is no prohibition, or meaning the charter is silent, then they have to vote for their governor. Now, the highly urbanized cities are cities with a minimum population of 200,000 inhabitants, as certified by the National Statistics Office, with the annual income of at least 15 million, okay, based in 1991 constant prices, as certified by the city treasurer. So 200,000 inhabitants, they may qualify to be highly urbanized. Now, the preservation of peace and order within the region shall be the responsibility of the local police agency, which shall be organized, maintained, okay, supervised, and utilized in accordance with applicable laws. The defense and security of the region shall be the responsibility of the national government. So take note of that. Okay, so the police, which maintains peace and order, is still under the indirectly by the president. Okay, because it's under the Department of Interior and Local Government, including as well in the under the ALG, the Bureau of Fire Protection, the BGMP, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, and the local government is under the ILG. The mayor down, governor is under the Department of Interior and Local Government. Now, what is a de facto corporations are formed when there is a defect in the creation of municipal corporation. Its legal existence has been recognized and acquiesced publicly and officially. So if you pretend that you are a public corporation, municipal corporation, you are called a de facto, meaning always your act. By the way, I mean, if you are not aware of the defects of the creation of municipal corporation, it's called a de facto corporation. There's a defect in the creation. So apparently, a valid law under which the corporation may be formed, okay, an attempt in good faith to organize a corporation, and a colorable compliance with law and assumption of a corporate office. So although there is a defect, then in its creation, then they must still be all their acts will be recognized as valid acts. Now, we go to the declaration of policy. It is hereby declared that the policy of the state, that the territorial, okay, and political subdivision of the state shall enjoy a genuine and meaningful local autonomy to enable them to attain their fullest development in self-reliant communities and make them more effective partners in the attainment of the national goals. Toward this end, the state shall provide for a more responsive and accountable local government structure instituted through a system of decentralization, whereby the local government units shall be given more powers, authority, responsibilities, and resources. The process of decentralization shall proceed from the national government to the local government units. It is also the policy of the state to ensure the accountability of local government units through the institution of effective mechanisms of recall, initiative, and referendum. It is likewise the policy of the state to require all national agencies and offices to conduct periodic consultations with appropriate local government units, non-governmental and people's organization, and other concerned sectors of the community before any project or programs is implemented in their respective jurisdictions. So take note of that. There should be a consultation if there are projects, but the recommendation of the residents is not a law itself. Meaning the councilors may approve or reject the suggestion of the residents during a consultation before a project can be implemented. It is only a recommendation, but not a hard and fast rule that legislators cannot do otherwise but implement it. No, it's only a recommendation. Now, so take note of the word decentralization, okay, or devolution of the power of the local government unit, as distinguished that from the decentralization of power. So decentralization of administration occurs when the government delegates administrative powers to the political subdivision in order